Our next speaker this morning is Secretary of State-elect Michael Watson. Now, when I started at MEC, my first job was a lobbyist. When he was elected to the Senate in 2007, came in 2008, I was still part of what that lobbying corps that sometimes can be considered, oh, those are bad guys, but we really weren't. But one thing stood out. We had a freshman senator from Pascagoula that we thought was going to be a rising star, and it's proven to be true. What we learned is he's very convicted in his beliefs, but those beliefs include making sure we have a tax system, and we're fighting for lowering taxes when necessary to make sure that our businesses can be successful. Those beliefs include making sure that our educational system doesn't forget about the fact that the career technical track is just as valuable as the academic track, and giving those students an opportunity to be successful when they finish high school and move into a career. And as Secretary of State, he has a lot of interaction with each of you in the business community and the things that you do. And without question, he understands the value of a strong business climate here in Mississippi. And in his role, he intends to work to continue to promote that and make sure Mississippi is a great place to do business. Would you please join me in welcoming Secretary of State-elect Michael Watson.
Thank you. Did Governor Reeves walk out yet? I didn't want to say anything good about him with him in the room. I'll tell you this, I know just the conservative nature in the business climate and how he governed as lieutenant governor, and I'm comfortable knowing that that's going to be in the governor's office as well. And look forward to working with him. We're on several different groups together, the Occupational Licensing Review Commission, for instance, and knowing that we have that same mentality, that conservative approach to business and governing is going to be exciting to work with him on those issues, and I look forward to that. Thank you this morning for having me here with you. You may not recognize me. The last few days I've had a little bit of a beard. I saw some of you last night, a little bit of a beard. When I shaved this morning, the lights were flickering. That's how thick it was. It was pretty tough. My wife said, look, when you get sworn in, there's no beards, okay? So just take care of that thing, and we did. I had to get up 2 hours early, but it's okay. We handled that. But I'm excited about this opportunity as we travel this great state and meeting the people. The tapestry of our state are just good people across this state. No matter where you went, I'm from the coast, obviously, but if I'm in Corinth or if I'm in Tupelo, if I'm wherever, you always found, you know what, we want the same things. We want what's best for our families. We want what's best for our communities. We want what's best for our state. And we can do that together. And so that was a fun, just a defining idea throughout the whole campaign. And I loved hearing that from all Mississippians, no matter what. And nobody really ever said, well, you know what, you're from the coast. You're just different. No one said that. What they said was, you know what, I appreciate your record in the legislature. And I appreciate the things that you've said about our state and about moving forward and about working together. And that's what we want to do. And I do have a track record. It's a track record of pro-business approach. The alternate track diploma, one of the first pieces of legislation that I got passed, I think it was my second or third year, dealing with career tech and moving forward in that direction. That's not something new to me. It's something I've worked on before, and so I'm excited about that too. And one of the great things about the campaign, and I have 3 little girls, you've probably seen them at some point in time, but Annie, my 6-year-old, we would start to travel on campaigns together, and she said, Dad, when I go with you, here's the deal. I want to speak. I said, okay, that works. What are you going to say? Well, I'm not telling you. Okay, that's even better. So we're at this event, and she gets up, and she says, I think it was right after the primary when she did this one. She said, my daddy's Michael Watson. He's going to be the Secretary of State, and we're going to travel the world. I was like, travel the world? Okay, don't say that publicly. But Mississippi is a beautiful world, and we've traveled this state from top to bottom, and I'm truly excited about the opportunity to have more of an impact, to work with you, to work with my friends. In the legislature, obviously, it's a team approach. I understand it takes a team to get legislation passed. To bring that same type of leadership to the Secretary of State's office is something that's near and dear to me, something that I pledge to you that I will do. I'm going to be traveling this state, left and right, up and down. I pledged yesterday to our circuit clerks, I'm going to walk into every one of your offices, all 82 counties. I'm going to come see you. You know, there's someone out there who are like, oh, yeah, really? I'm going to show up. And I'm going to see those eyes go, wait a minute, you said you were coming and you actually came. So it's fun for me to build those relationships, to build that trust, to understand, you know what? When we have a friendship that's built on trust and respect, we can do good things. So I'm excited about that. I wanted to introduce you to a couple of my folks that are here. This guy, so I was on TV, and when you run statewide, you got to spend a lot of money, and some of that's on TV. And so people would start to come up to you in Walmart or wherever, and, you know, just get the kind of, so that's that guy. I was in Walmart one day. No, I think it was in Best Buy. A guy walks up and he says, and I'd seen him walking down the aisle a couple times, and he'd look and he'd go back, and he'd look and go back. And he came and said, are you the one with those 3 little girls? And they were with me. And I said, well, yeah. There they are. And so you have that experience, and it's kind of neat. It's kind of interesting. It kind of freaks my girls out. This older lady walked up to Annie and said, I saw you on TV with your daddy, and she stuck her thumb in her mouth and walked away. But I say that to say this. We were in a restaurant a few weeks ago, and this elderly lady started walking up to the table, and I was thinking in the back of my mind, here we go again. This is pretty cool. And she says, didn't look at me. She looked at my chief of staff. Are you Keith Davis? I was like, wait a minute, I've been on TV. So with that, I want to introduce to you my chief of staff, Keith Davis. He's in the back of the room. He's from a law enforcement background, so don't mess with me, all right? This guy's, he's probably packing right now. But I'm glad to have him on my team. And there's been so many times where Keith would mention something, or we'd talk about an issue, and I would just kind of walk away thinking, dear God, thank you for giving me somebody like that, that I can rely on, that I can trust, that has all of these experiences that I might not have had, but now brings those to the table that we can offer together. So I'm excited about him. He's going to be great. Colton Robinson is in the back as well. Colton, give him a good wave. Colton's on our policy team. So you'll see him traveling with me around the state, and you'll see him at the Capitol. But I wanted to introduce those faces so you see them. That's our team. And it's not just my team, it's our team. Because that's the approach that we want to take to the Secretary of State's office. We've talked about a lot of different policies that we want to work on. Number one, that you've heard a great deal of, is the DMV, moving the Department of Motor Vehicles from the Department of Public Safety over to the Secretary of State's office. 3 other states house that right now. Several other states have a hybrid approach. You'll be hearing more about that, but it's definitely something we want to talk about. But I got to tell you this. I was on Facebook the other day, shocker, and a guy is commenting about the DMV, and he had to wait 4 hours to get his license, and he was just ranting and raving. And the guy gets on there, and he says, well, yeah, but Michael Watson's going to fix it. And then right below it, he says, and we're going to hold him accountable if he doesn't. I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Let's be clear here. What I said was, if the legislature will give it to me, then I will. So until they give it to me, don't hold me accountable yet. But that's one of our big things. We're going to talk about elections. We're going to talk about a lot of different things. But the point I wanted to talk to you about, and something that's very important to me, and we've talked to some of our economic development friends around the state, we're actually going to set up an individual specifically targeted at economic development. So when we bring that person in, I'm going to bring him or her around and introduce him or her to you, so you know, hey, look, this is our contact person. Anything economic development wise that the Secretary of State's office can help with, that's your point of contact. And call and use that as much as you possibly can. But you're also going to get me, because I'm coming to your towns. I'm coming to your cities. I want to come see your businesses. And again, I want to build those relationships. If we have those relationships, we can do so much good together. Mississippi's on such a great trajectory over the past 8 to 12 years. It's crazy that I've been in the Senate for 12 years. By the way, I was at the swearing in the other day of the new senators, and it's kind of weird. Governor Reeves is going to be unemployed after 2 o'clock. Well, I'm unemployed now. I did not file a claim, so we're good. No, don't worry about your rates going up or anything. But I appreciate what you do. I appreciate our business community here in Mississippi. You are what drives our economy, and so you're important, and I want you to know that I understand that. And I look forward to seeing you, to visiting with you, to building that relationship of trust over these next 4 years and doing some really good things. Business services is an incredibly important part of what our office does and what our office offers. So Secretary Husband has done a fantastic job with that, getting that going in the right direction. People say, Michael, what are your priorities? Well, number one, I talked about that a minute ago, but really number one is keep it between the ditches, don't mess it up. So he's done such a good job. We're going to continue to improve on that. But I'm excited, looking forward to taking our oath today at 2 o'clock, and then it becomes official. So I'll be your next Secretary of State, and look forward to visiting with you and crisscrossing Mississippi and doing great things together. So thank you for what you do. God bless you. Look forward to working with you, and may God bless our great state of Mississippi. Take care.
Well, again, we want to thank both Secretary of State-elect Watson and Governor Reeves for being with us. We know they've got a busy day going on. What is always fun is when Capitol Day falls on the first year of a term, because it always is on the same day of the inaugurals of our statewide elected officials. So we really do work very closely with them to make sure that they have an opportunity to speak to you, because it's one they always want to be able to do. And then on top of that, make sure we're able to be part of what they're doing in celebrating their day as well. I want just a couple of minutes. I want to take about thanking you for being here. As I said when I started, we're going to jump right in, but I want to just take a step back for a second and just remind everybody how much we appreciate what you all do as members of MEC. If you look around the room, you'll see all the sponsor banners, and there's some other on your agenda. The additional sponsors are listed there. Without that, this event could not happen. Without the commitment that you have to MEC, this could not happen. And without the commitment that we have from our leadership on both our Board of Governors, our Board of Directors, and with our foundations, MEC would not be as effective in actually focusing on data-driven research to develop policy that we believe will truly make a difference long-term for Mississippi. At this time, I'd like to ask our members of our Boards of Directors to please stand so we can recognize them and thank them for the hard work that they do. Thank you very much for all that you do and for your leadership. At this time, I'm going to ask former Senator Giles Ward to come up. He is serving as the chairman of the Mississippi Complete Count. It's really an important thing that's going to be happening in Mississippi over the next year. The 2020 census is very valuable in making sure that Mississippi has its place in terms of how our population is, our representation in Washington, and to have Senator Ward in that role is very exciting, and he's going to talk to you a little bit about what to expect over the coming months. Senator?
Thank you so much, Scott. It's great to be here. The first two speakers are very, very close personal friends of mine. Between them, they have 6 beautiful daughters. I've met all of them. The MEC is a very diverse group, believes in diversity. I'm here to represent the grandparents that are in the room. I have 5 of them, but I don't have nearly enough time to tell you about them. So it's good to be with you here this morning. I first certainly want to thank the MEC for this opportunity to briefly speak with you here as you assemble for Capitol Day. I have a unique past relationship with what is going on here today, having served more than 20 years ago on the Board of Governors of the MEC. I don't even know if you still have a Board of Governors or not. I have worked closely with Scott Waller, with Blake Wilson, even back to the days of Bob Pittman. And more recently, having served 2 terms in the Mississippi Senate, I certainly know how important this meeting is, and that the MEC is the very heart and soul of Mississippi's economy. I won't be long. My message is short, sweet, simple, but it's so very important. In August of last year, Governor Bryant asked me to serve as the chairman of the Mississippi Complete Count Committee associated with the upcoming 2020 census. The committee's role is to educate our citizens from the Gulf Coast to the Tennessee line, from Alabama to Arkansas and Louisiana, about the importance of the 2020 census, the extreme importance. It's a huge task and one for which we need your help. I stand before you today recognizing the significant influence that each of you have back in your hometowns and throughout the state of Mississippi. The fact that you are seated in this room here today unequivocally establishes your credentials of influence here in the state of Mississippi. I know you're here today to make contact with your elected representatives and senators in the Mississippi legislature, and I know you all have issues of great importance to you and to your locales back in your hometowns. But I would suggest to you this morning that there is nothing, absolutely nothing more important impacting our state this year, your home county, your hometown, this entire state of Mississippi, than the 2020 census. And here's why I say that. The population of our state, your county, even your hometown is the determining factor of literally billions, with a B, of federal dollars that will be dispersed over the next 10 years. These funds go to support education through Head Start, special needs programs, and numerous child care and nutrition programs, public health programs, including Medicaid, Mississippi's Children's Health Insurance Program, also known as CHIP. As I said, the nutrition programs, including SNAP, WIC, school lunches, foster care programs. The census also determines how much money communities and states receive for local programs, including support for local hospitals, fire and police department, roads, bridges, and highways. And as important as the economics of the census is to all of us in Mississippi, the census numbers are critical to us in other important matters. They determine the number of members of the United States House of Representatives that Mississippi and all other states have in the capital. In hometown Mississippi, the census will determine which ward or precinct a citizen votes in and is represented by at City Hall. The supervisor districts in every Mississippi county for every Mississippi citizen, the metes and bounds of those districts are determined by the census count. And of particular importance to us here today and what your mission is here today, the 122 House districts and the 52 Senate districts will be shaped in the upcoming 4-year elections from now by the results of the Mississippi Senate, or the census. Prior to coasting into retirement, I served 20 years as a member of the Louisville Board of Aldermen. And as Scott mentioned a moment ago, I served 8 years as a member of the Mississippi Senate. Believe me, I know that the most demanding task of government officials is finding enough revenue to support all of the important facets of government that our citizens expect and deserve. And as you know, the stopgap for critically important services when there isn't sufficient revenue from the state falls directly back on businesses, industries, and individuals in higher taxes. For every adult that is not counted in Mississippi in the 2020 census, over $2,000 in federal funds will be lost. The figure increases to $2,700 for every child. And since the census data is used over the next 10 years, this means well over $20,000 per person for every individual that we miss in counting in the upcoming census. For every 1,000 people that we miss, we stand to lose over $20 million over the next 10 years. This morning I'm asking you to help spread the word that the individual data collected in the census is required by law to be kept confidential for 72 years. I'm not the least bit embarrassed to tell you that I'm 71 years old. Nothing that my parents ever reported about me or their family situation on the census, particularly about me, can be released until 2022, 2 more years. I was first counted in the 1950 census. The data that is collected next year will not be released to the public until the year 2092, and then only for specific research projects. Responding to the census doesn't jeopardize any benefits that any citizen is presently receiving. However, citizens do need to understand that not responding to the census could very easily put many of those benefits at risk because funding of them is directly tied to the number of people that are counted. In closing, I'm not here to ask you to help us count folks next year. That will be left in the very capable hands of the United States Census Bureau. However, as chairman of Mississippi's Complete Count Committee, I hope you'll leave here today committed to helping us spread the word that we count in Mississippi. 49 other states are involved in the census. They're doing everything they can to get their people out, to get their share of the benefits of a good full count. We've got to push the load, folks. We've got to get out there and get our folks educated on how important this is. And as I said in my opening remarks, there's simply nothing facing us in the state of Mississippi any more important. Thank you so much for allowing me to be here. God bless you all.
Good morning. Welcome everybody again to MEC's Capitol Day. As you probably know, this is our largest legislative event that we host every year. It is a fantastic opportunity for you to hear directly from our legislators, our state leaders, and hear what their plans are for the upcoming session. It's also a great opportunity, and we should not miss it, to build our relationships with each other. It's very rare that all of the business leaders and community leaders across the state get in one room together. So let's not miss the opportunity to do that. I am the first chair-elect to MEC. I'm excited about that. Our chairman, Lex Taylor, is not able and was not able to be with us today. He had something come up, so I am filling in for him. I promise you, I will get you out of here in time to catch that bus. I'm going to be very brief. Lex has done a fantastic job for us this year. He is full of energy. He's full of enthusiasm for MEC. He has done a great job. And I look forward to coming in behind him to pick up the mission and carry it forward in 2020 and 2021. So I'm excited about that. The private sector plays a very, very important role. We have the opportunity to bring what is happening real time together with and partner with our state leaders and our state legislators. Hopefully what we do is create here at MEC an opportunity to be the voice of business. You hear that term a lot, but I think that truly does fall to MEC to do that. And I think through the years we have surely done a good job of that. And I think the state leadership looks to us for that. When there are business issues, they look to us for guidance. And we want to be able to provide that. And we want to be able to provide guidance that is based in fact. What is actually happening on the ground every day in the businesses that we all run across this great state. MEC is very effective, I think, because of the personal involvement of each one of you. Just by virtue of the fact that you're in this room, it makes a huge difference. Another thing that matters with MEC is the funding that comes from all of our companies into MEC. I think it is probably the most trusted brand out there, and it's because we have historically established that brand. And without our presence and our financial support, we could not do that. There's no doubt about that. We have the roadshow that's coming up that Scott just talked about. That is unique, and it is an opportunity for us to get out across the entire state. MEC will stop at many, many of our towns across the state starting January 16th. And I'm encouraging you to encourage others to come to one of those meetings, to share what is on your mind with MEC. That is how we ultimately get that feedback back to a room just like this one, And that's how we are able to get that word, those desires, back to our state leadership. So please don't miss the opportunity to attend one of those events. It's very well worth your time to do that. So to keep this short, let me just stop and say how very much we appreciate Governor-elect Tate Reeves coming today. Also, Secretary-elect Michael Watson being with us today. You can imagine how busy this week is for them. This is probably the busiest week of their life, maybe except for the week they got married. And they chose to be here with this group. I think that speaks really well of them, and I think it speaks really well of MEC for them to choose to be here. So that's exciting. We have a great list of speakers that you're about to go hear. We have Lieutenant Governor-elect Delbert Hoseman will be there to hear from. Of course, Speaker Philip Gunn will be speaking to the group, as well as Senate President Pro Tem Dean Kirby will be there, and House Speaker Pro Tem Jason White. I think that's important for us to hear what their views of what this session is going to look like. There'll probably be some slight differences. That's okay. Hopefully over the session they will begin to meld to one. And that's what happens during a session like this. As we head into the 2020 session, we should be excited about the opportunity that lays before us. I'm convinced that this slate of statewide officers and the new legislators that are there perhaps is the most business-focused group in total that we've ever had. That is a huge opportunity for us. I pray that we don't miss it. And it's going to take all of us working together with them to make that happen. I know they want us to help them make that happen. So I'm excited about it. I'm certainly appreciative of all of you being here. You know, there is a huge, I think, power in us speaking collectively as a business community. That is a responsibility that I know MEC does not take lightly. So thank you for being here. Be safe as you go forward to catch the bus. And I look forward to hearing what we have before us at the legislature. Thank you.